going to be a network that will call the race for Joe Biden. And I don't know, they might use exit polling data. Who knows what they'll use? But the effort to suppress Election Day turnout tomorrow is going to be intense because, ladies and gentlemen, the people who are professionals in politics know one simple thing. There is nothing that overcomes Election Day turnout. Election Day turnout is how we avoid election fraud. If we overwhelm the polls on Election Day, and don't be afraid of COVID, wear the mask. Do whatever you have to do to make yourself feel safe. Stay 6 feet away from whoever you're nearest. If you go, it's okay. You can do it. Election Day turnout is the best way to overcome election fraud. And also the after-election chaos and the counting of votes, the chaos there, is to have so many votes on Election Day that it overwhelms the cheating. That is the magic of Election Day turnout. And don't think that your vote doesn't matter. I'm not trying to be cliched here. This is absolutely the way we win. Election Day turnout, now, unless you've already voted. But despite all you've heard about it, early voting and absentee, the number of people who haven't voted yet is phenomenally high. So just make sure that on Election Day, if you've not early voted, that you get out and turn out. Because it is how this election is going to be won. And they know it on the left. They know it on the Democrat side. Let me tell you something. These Trump rallies, these crowds are phenomenal. Even the governor, the lieutenant governor of Pennsylvania is saying you can't Photoshop these. I'm looking at a photo right now. It's too. I was going to put it on the dental cam, but it's by the time it ended up there, the resolution would be so off that it'd just be a blob of red here. It's 30,000 people in Butler, Pennsylvania. Democrat Pennsylvania Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman vocalized a major concern among prominent Democrats, alerting his followers to Trump's massive crowd Saturday night in Butler. He said, the president's popular in Pennsylvania. I don't care what the polls say. With 700,000 ballots still out there, you need to bank your ballot, use a drop box, get them in. They are worried. Apparently responding to Democrats who suggested the photograph was fake, Lieutenant Governor of Pennsylvania wrote, this is a Politico reporter. This is not MAGA propaganda. You can't fake a crowd like that, he said. You can make sure you show up and get early vote in. Early vote matters, get them in. But he said that's not Photoshop. That is a Reuters image of Butler. The battle for Pennsylvania, maybe the presidency will be won or lost by you, said the Pennsylvania lieutenant governor. Folks, this picture is, I may take a screenshot of it at the break and put it up there. Trump even took a fracking oil well. Did you see that they had a fracking oil well to put it on display to illustrate what Biden is opposed to? These crowds are massive. They are bigger crowds than there were in 2016. And I don't care. You're not seeing anywhere near this kind of enthusiasm on the Biden side. In fact, I think we got the audio of this on the Soundbite roster. Obama and Biden were someplace on Saturday. Obama introduces Biden. Big buildup. And now, the man you've all been waiting for to see. The man, other than me, of course, everybody come see me, but after me, Joe Biden. Nothing. And let's get a big round of applause for Joe Biden. Nothing. Plugs forgot to open a door and go out and greet the 20 people or so in the cars that shown up to see him. Obama had to be going, oh my God, what have I signed up for here? And we're going to remind you today just how pathetic Obama is as an endorser. He does not pull or push Democrats over the finish line. We're also going to be joining in progress President Trump. 5 more rallies today. Where does he get the energy? It's 1 o'clock in the morning. This morning, down in Miami, Opelika, he's on the stage dancing at the end of his rally. These crowds, I am telling you, this enthusiasm, you haven't seen 1/100th of this enthusiasm on the Biden side. The most Biden's people will do will sit in their warm cars and honk their horns. All 7 to 10 of them. Nobody's ever seen anything like the turnout that President Trump is getting for his rallies. And like Trump says, he's doing it without a guitar, meaning there's no rock band here drawing these kinds of crowds. I'm just going to tell you, folks, if this kind of unprecedented enthusiasm translates tomorrow into turnout, Trump is going to win and win big. I don't care. 80 million people supposedly have voted, 70 million, whatever it is. This election is not over. Do not think it is, because if you haven't voted, it isn't over. It isn't over until every one of you vote. Audio soundbite time. I want to take you back and remind you of something. Last Monday, 1 week ago on this program, I said this. So, folks, here's where we are right now. If we see the mainstream polls by Wednesday or Thursday suddenly tightening, if they suddenly show a close race, well, then we're going to know some things. Among the things that we will know is that they were lying throughout the past 3 years. I remember after I made that statement, I was pilloried. I was mocked. I was laughed at. I was made fun of. People said, Rush, come on. They're not going to tighten their polls. They're not going to do. They're using the polls to suppress the Trump turnout. They're not going to do. Not so fast. We have one of our famous media montages. We take you now to the drive-by media trying to disguise their freakout.
New polling tonight in some key swing states that show a tightening race.
I'm hearing from people there is a tightening of the gap, and there is an enthusiasm on the Republican Party.
All across the country, the pollsters are saying that the race is tightening.
There are signs of tightening in the race. The race always tightens at the end, doesn't it?
We see the polls tightening.
The polls are so tight right now.
The race is really tightening.
This race tightening.
More of a tightening now.
Tightened quite a bit.
Democrats are saying, look, they are seeing the race tightening in the last few days in some of those crucial battleground states.
In these battleground states, it is narrowing and narrowing fast.
Each state in the battleground could be very, very tight. Are we missing something? Do you think we're missing something?
Wait a minute. I thought I didn't know what I was talking about. I thought that I was laughed at, mocked, and made fun of because I said that they were going to report the racist. I said, if they report the race tightening. I said, if we see them report the race tightening, then we're going to know some things. That's all I said. And here they are. They're freaking out. They are concerned about this. And you know something? There's another way to look at this. Imagine that you just arrived from Mars. Let's say you're the first woman astronaut to go to Mars, and you got back. You just got back. You haven't seen drive-by media. You haven't watched the media at all. And there's a presidential race going on, and you turn on the TV. No, you don't turn on the TV. Well, you turn on the TV, but you watch what's happening instead of listening to media reports. Who would you think is winning this race? You would think Donald Trump is headed to a landslide sweep just by what you would see on TV, independent of media reporting. You take the media reporting out of this, and you have an entirely different reality. Yeah, I know. There seem to be two immutable laws when it comes to American politics and the media. Number one, every Democrat candidate is predicted to be a winner in a landslide until the final days. Then it becomes too close to call. And the second factor is that if a Republican candidate is ever ahead, it's always called a statistical tie that could go either way. In other words, the drive-bys are never, ever going to report that a Republican is actually in the lead because the effort is to suppress the vote. Let's see. Yes, indeed. This morning on NPR's Morning Edition, a portion of media correspondent David Folkenflick's report about me and my support of President Trump.
Last month, when Trump contracted COVID-19, he couldn't stage rallies. Columbia University historian Nicole Hemmer studies conservative media. She notes Rush Limbaugh, a friend and ally of the president, mused aloud how he could help Trump.
And Limbaugh kind of came up with this idea on the radio that he would offer his microphone to the president so he could do a kind of virtual rally.
This, sir, is a MAGA rally, and we are all thrilled to be with you today. We are so glad you're doing better, and welcome to the EIB Network.
Well, I want to thank you, Rush. You're a fantastic man, a friend of mine, but before I really even knew you as a friend, you were like a supporter.
Limbaugh almost never has guests. That conversation lasted 2 hours. And then the top-rated radio host spent another show listening to an actual Trump rally.
It gives you a sense of how all in both the president and Limbaugh are in the 2020 election.
Stop and think of that line. They have put me in the equation. I'm not running for anything, and yet it gives you a sense of how all in both the president and Limbaugh are in the 2020 election. As though somehow that is surprising. Why is it a shock that the president would be all in on his reelection? No. I'm serious. I'm asking a serious question. Why? How do you arrive at that data point? How do you? What kind of thinking is it that you think it's strange that the president would be all in on his own reelection? And then to throw me into the equation, it gives you a sense of how all in both the president and Limbaugh are in the 2020 election. Now, it could well be, may I say something? I'm going to speculate here. I normally wouldn't do this because, you know, I don't like talking about myself. I don't like making me the focus. But it could well be that back in January, February, when I announced my diagnosis, they might have thought I was just going to fade away, step aside, focus on other priorities. Let's put it that way. Maybe they are, I don't know, surprised, disappointed, whatever, that I'm showing up for work every day. I don't know. I don't know how you put me in this sentence, though. It gives you a sense. No, I'm not upset by it. I'm a little surprised. Gives you a sense of how all in both the president and Limbaugh are in the 2020 election. Why would the president not be all in? And I can understand them maybe asking this about me. Why would Limbaugh be all in given everything going on with him? Maybe if they're looking at it that way. But I know, sweetie, I know you're so absolutely right about this. You have been on top of this from day one. One more audio soundbite here before we take our first obscene prophet timeout. Nate Silver, this is the guru. This is the guy that the left turns to whenever there's any problem, when they're having any kind of self-esteem problem, if they're having any doubt, any concern about the outcome of the election. They go to Nate Silver, the 538.com website editor. He was on This Week with George Stephanopoulos, who asked Silver, when you think about writing the headline, writing the story on Wednesday that Donald Trump won, oh, heaven forbid, but if you have to do that, what would be the key factors?
It would come down to Pennsylvania, and maybe a lot of little things add up, and Biden loses Pennsylvania by half a point, and then he doesn't quite pull off Arizona or North Carolina. Without Pennsylvania, then Biden becomes an underdog.
Whoa, wait a minute. Without Pennsylvania, Biden becomes an underdog? I thought Biden had it won everywhere, Mr. Snerdley. What about, I thought Biden had it from Florida, Arizona, North Carolina, Wisconsin, Michigan, Mars. I thought Biden had it everywhere. But now if Biden doesn't get Pennsylvania, becomes an underdog, well, let's check Pennsylvania. Let's see what's going on in Pennsylvania. Oh, I don't have Pennsylvania right in front of me, but you know what? I do have some data. I do. Sorry. Trump grabs the lead in Pennsylvania per new poll. Donald Trump grabbed a 2-point lead, Pennsylvania, according to a new poll conducted by Insider Advantage for the Center for American Greatness. It's a great website, by the way, American Greatness. 500 likely voters, October 30, 31. Margin of error, plus or minus 4.4 points. Trump 49, Biden 47 in Pennsylvania.